Yeah. No, he's done spring break. Oh. Nothing, just occupying my time. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you? I don't know. What do you got? Okay. Okay, you should do well. What they do well.
I don't know why.
I think about the ball. Oh, you think you'll sell?
Hmm?
What are you gonna sell?
I don't know. I didn't know I had a note in my desk.
White bar.
That's pretty exciting.
Are they already on the ground? Yeah. Ready? All right. Notice is hereby given of the regular meeting of the Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District on Wednesday, March 11th, 2026, 6 p.m. at the district's office located at 1605 Whitaker Drive, Friendswood, Texas. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Our district engineer, Scott Sheridan, is going to give the invocation and lead us in the pledges.
Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord God, thank you so much for this opportunity to be here and represent the district this evening. We just pray that we turn to you for all decisions and keep your word and your will up in front and what's important to you. And Lord, we just pray for health and prosperity for ourselves, our family and friends, for all those that are in war-torn areas, and just pray for peace on earth and that we're part of that peace. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On our district's flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one faith, under God, one and indivisible.
Now we will proceed to citizens' comments. Citizens are encouraged to give comments 3 minutes or more. Please step to the podium and say your name and your address before you speak, please. We have one, Kevin Holland.
Kevin Holland, 1201 Crawford Drive. Galveston County is outliving its purpose. The drainage district doesn't need to be around anymore. They collect 7 million in taxes. They don't do any drainage projects, at least for the past 2 years. Hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on lawyers, directors' benefits, and redundant equipment. Over $1 million lost to fraud. Working relationships with other government agencies don't exist any longer. It's time to complete Deepwood, Clearview, and fulfill the promise we made on 1959. Once that's done, turn it over to the floodplain managers, City of Friendswood and City of League City, and save each taxpayer over $500 a year. Early voting for the 20th.
Board of Directors report. Mr. Gibson.
Yes, I've been, excuse me. But first of all, thank y'all for being here tonight. I attended the LPM 1959 project stakeholder meeting, and they have completed 90% of the design. Expect to be 100% in 10 weeks from now. And that would put it at the start of the third quarter. And our bill will be due then sometime in the third quarter to finish up the 1.6 million that we owe. Also attended the city's master drainage plan public meeting. I thought overall it was very good. Identified several projects for evaluation that I hadn't seen before. As a citizen, I asked them to include the Channel Clearview 2 conveyance project in evaluation, since the project would reduce the water level about 6 inches during a 5-year flood event. and they said that they would. Also attended the San Jacinto Region 6 Flood Planning Group's public hearing. Clear Creek and the GCCDD is included in that region. Region 6 purpose is to identify and evaluate flood reduction projects and get funding for those projects via grants from the state and federal government. Thinking and talking with people at these meetings about what could GCCDD do to reduce flooding and lower taxes. The ideal came up that GCCDD is too small area-wise, has too little money, controls only one side of Clear Creek, not both sides, like the city does. Has a hard time competing with larger districts for state funds, and the district can't do projects that push water onto Lake City because state law says that if we do, we're liable for the damages. So it seems like a place to start improving better flood control is that for the district to support a regional flood control policy and disband. That not only us, but all the other small drainage districts in the county, all the way up to the headwaters of Clear Creek and turn it over to a regional concept. That would help coordinate all the projects people are doing and do them in a proper order if we can make that happen. The west end on Dickinson Vowel Park turned over to Lake City and managed and maintained, and they've already budgeted $1.5 million to do that. And talking with the city, they said that they can take up our maintenance activities for no increase in taxes, because as town center comes online and sales tax increases, then they'll have money taken out of Harris County and put into Galveston County for us. What this overall concept would do then is to help Fringewood and Lake City compete for grant money. Be able to work both sides of Clear Creek for better coordination of projects, and it would eliminate the GCDD tax burden of $6.5 million. It looks like to me a win-win concept. But this can't happen until 3 board members believe in this approach and vote to disband GCCDD. I'm 1 vote, Kevin's 2nd vote, and hopefully the 3rd vote will come in the next 2 years. That's all I have.
Mr. Johnson. Gosh, that's so frightening. Well, I'll just have to say that the city of Friendswood and Galveston County has done such a damn good job of fixing this flooding problem. Basically doing nothing for years. I don't live in a flood zone, okay? But there's lots of my friends that do. And I guess maybe they should just pick up and leave. I can tell you one thing, I think Applewood's pretty damn happy that we were there after the city basically gave carte blanche to a developer to fill and compact a pad. And so I disagree with you. And I'll tell you something else too. It's not going to come up again until we have a barn burn over hurricane. And when that happens, then it'll be on the public. But let me just tell you, the problem with it is, and believe me, I am for a regional. I'd happily give this thing up. Believe me, I get nothing out of this but grief. Okay. I would happily give this thing up. I think it should be under one entity. Okay. But look at the other entities that have come together. They're feckless. They don't do anything. Nothing happens. They have meetings. They want to talk about it. At least we had an idea outside the box other than just digging holes. And so, believe me, the governor appointed the Gulf Coast Protection District for this very thing. And what's happened?
I'll be dead before they get anything done. And what'll help us is a flood dike and pumps at Clear Lake. It has nothing to do with the Ike dike. We could use it as a pilot project. I don't know why that's so hard for people to understand. But I'm gonna say this, let me ask you guys, are y'all interested in us going away? Because I was go back to the ranch. No big deal for me. So, you know, it just, it amazes me the corruption at the local level. I thought it was, inside the Beltway stuff, at the local level, it is sickening. Hey, I used to pay off contractors. I used to pay off engineers. I used to pay off politicians. I get it. Like I told you before, I'm a recovering general contractor, okay? It just so happens that I don't know anybody, and I haven't met with anybody because I don't want to have to answer favors. I told them I don't do favors. You got to go through the process, and so all I can tell you is get out and vote, folks. We got some horses running, and they need your vote if you want to have it down. It's embarrassing to me. It's unethical, and it's immoral what the city of Friendswood's let this developer get away with. And I think if you want a bunch of carpetbaggers running this show, well then, let's vote the carpetbaggers in. Okay, we'll go back to where we were 2 years ago with the same old crap. But nothing's going to change until everybody gets out and votes. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
And at the end of the year, we had 6th, 7th, and 8th graders come to eat with the last 3 meetings of the year. And these 6th, 7th, and 8th graders are much smarter than what we have in the city of Friendswood right now, as far as the way that they would go about drainage here. We, over the last, what is it now? 9 years, going on 9 years since Harvey, and having 3.5 feet of water in my house, and knowing for a fact that we get 25, 30 inches of water, I'm probably gonna have water in my house again. And knowing that nothing's been done except for digging holes in the ground that aren't gonna lower the water levels of their creek, Howard's Creek, Sugar Creek, by any stretch of the imagination, where it needs to be feet, not inches. It's not going to happen. And so it's disgusting that this thought process is going on elsewhere in the city, when they aren't flooding, but some of us up here on this board did. Jim, Rusty, Kim, and we're going to do it. We're going to face it again. If we don't take these IDRT studies seriously, and look at how the silting, we've already seen pictures of bank repairs where Randy has had 5 feet of silt on the sides of Howard's Creek. It's ridiculous. Army Corps of Engineers shouldn't even be worried, shouldn't be even concerned with what we do with that side to be able to get that stuff out of there. But they are. They don't want us touching them because we can't prove it. We have a picture to prove it. It's just disgusting. But I got back to these 6th, 7th, and 8th graders that were here, and they had some great ideas. And one of them left me a note, and it said, "Hi, I'm a 7th grader, and I sat in your seat, and I want to thank you for everything you do. And I want to do your job one day when I grow up." 7th grader. I think what we've done here at the GCCDD for the last 2 years, and especially having those 6th, 7th, and 8th graders come in, was impactful for our community. I'm not up here for any kind of power trip. I'm up here for our people, because the citizens of Friendswood deserve better than what they've been getting. They definitely do. Thank you.
Jason.
One thing I've said before, one thing that we do is we serve as a check and balance against the wants of the cities and the developers. If this was handed over to the city, if this was handed over to either city, when standards bumped up against profit, when standards bumped up against your tax revenue, when it bumped up against new development, those things will be pushed aside. And when the only thing you do is this is what you do. But when you have to pick up brush after barrel and you burn through that budget, and then you burn through Parks and Rec to help with the debris removal, and then you steal from your mosquito budget because, well, it didn't rain. We'll just use that to remove the brush. And then in August, we get a rainmaker with no wind and we're covered in mosquitoes, the pterodactyl, the big ones that feel like a bee when they get you. And then you're begging the county. So everything along those lines, drainage will be kicked aside for profit. It will be robbed from Peter to pay Paul over and over again because the city's mission is broad. They have a great many responsibilities. We're like the fire department. We're like the police department. We do our job and nothing else. And when you eliminate that check and balance, then I ask the question, how does it serve you? How does it affect your money? How does it help your money? Because it certainly isn't helping the taxpayers. And no, the city can't absorb us without asking for additional tax dollars because they don't do this. They've never done this. So they have to build a staff to do this. They have the equipment to do this. They have to build all of it. And that will not be paid for by what we hope are future revenues from a site that may or may not be completed in the near or distant future. It's all pie in the sky. The only person that hasn't raised your taxes in what will be 3 years is us. Your taxes will always go up, no matter how much revenue is brought in from some other source. Thank you, Rusty.
It's shameful. It's shameful. 3 people sitting in here who raise taxes every year you're on the board.
That's not.
And now it's, hey, enough. You
Quit
don't,
lying.
enough.
We're gonna ask you to leave.
And now, no, I want him to say, and now, after the first elected board ever gets elected, what happens? All chaos breaks loose. The unholy alliance of the cities against the citizens of Friendswood who have been drowning, people who actually are from here, from here. I know that's a hard concept. Drowning since 79 over and over again. And we have to hear this nonsense from tax-raising people for 20 plus years on a non-elected board. We have an elected board doing the right thing. We haven't raised taxes in 3 years. You know why? Because we stopped millions of dollars of projects that weren't studied. One right by somebody's office, not even no engineering, no schematics, not even a napkin of anything, zero. You know what? Where does all that dirt go? Never wonder where all that dirt goes. But millions, non-studied, that's undisputed. It's undisputed, Mr. Gibson. It's undisputed. All the millions of those projects show us the engineering. And somebody sat here and fought that stuff. And now what do we have? We have a staff that's educated, that's professional, a wonderful staff doing the work on the creeks that we can control like we need to do, while at the same time leading the way with a world-class institution in our own county, Texas A&M IDRT. Somebody named me a better world-class institute to work with than somebody right here, one of our 2 major flagship institutions, right here in our own county, who understands the increasing devastating effects of an expanding floodplain. I'm gonna tell you something. This is cute. Y'all being real cute. Y'all gonna submerge 30 to 40% of the city, and you're gonna submerge the tax base that supports our school district. It's gonna go under. So is the city. And you know what they're gonna do then? They're gonna run a California-style bailout. And I hope the camera gets this good. That's one of those where they say $600 or $700 million, because if you don't do it, citizens, the city's going to go under and we can't support the school district because of negligence of doing our job for decades and fighting for the people of Friendswood, Texas. That's why we're here. Turn it over to the cities? Are you kidding me? The cities controlling the flooding and drainage with the millions of things they deal with, overseeing the developers. How's that worked out in Friendswood? It's just been peachy, hasn't it? No, it hasn't been. And people know this and the voters know. And we're going to find out in May what the voters think. We found out before, we're going to find out again. And if the voters want this and they want to be left all alone with the cities running everything and this 50 years of failure, because I've been here my whole life, 57 years. What are you so impressed with? What is everybody so impressed with in 57 years that's been done to mitigate flooding and drainage in this area? Are you impressed after 79? You impressed after 2001? Some people have been on the board that long. You impressed after 2017? What about when we kill a bunch of people next time and we flood everybody? Because that's what's going to happen. Y'all sit there and get cute. We're going to kill people. Yes. And we're going to flood them out of oblivion. And then the financial consequences of being cute are going to hit. Hey, there's no doubt this county could really benefit from a fully elected, independent flooding entity looking out for the citizens. Safety first, property first, no doubt. But until we do, we're the only ones left that's active and that's, I got in gear for the freaking citizens. And like I said, Dave and I mean, you know, we do a lot of different things, but I tell you, there's nothing better than represent the citizens of Friendswood. My mother's from here. She's been here 80 years. It's 1950. And I'm going to tell you something. This place is awesome and we are letting it slip. But we're going to flood ourselves out of the city. That's what's disgusting. And I'm going to tell you again, it's not our water. My two girls were just at a meeting with Mayor Whitmire in Houston last week, and he was complaining in public on video about all the water Harris County gets from Montgomery County. It's not fair, and it's flooding them out of Harris County. Well, where do you think that water goes? Unicorn land, fairy dust, right through our city. And how much water do you think little old Friendswood's really putting in that creek? How much? How much water do you think is coming from all those millions of acres of impervious cover that's going on? And been going on since Harvey. Now, Stone Cold reality is going to hit and the cuteness is going to stop. So once again, I'm going to defer to my better judgment. I'm going to defer to some really great people around this city. And we're going to find out what the citizens of Friendswood really want for leadership. Some of the best things in life start with seeds. And the Bible tells us that too. Little seeds you drop. And if we drop a seed that catches fire and changes the course of the direction of flooding and drainage in this area, that will be enough for me. We have no presentations. We have no public hearings. We have no discussion action items. We do have a consent agenda that needs to be passed. And if anybody would like to pull that in at a consent agenda, please do so. If not, I'd like to hear a motion.
I'm voting to pull C.
Absolutely. Paige, will you please pull C out of consent agenda? Anybody else?
Has the minutes been published?
Yes, they are in the bold SharePoint folder. Have you been able to access them?
Or see. I checked this morning and I didn't see them, but maybe I missed them.
Would you like to review them? They're quite short before you vote.
Yes, please.
Do you have a motion on the consent agenda?
Minus A. Is that what you're saying? He wants to.
You want to pull the minutes, Jim?
Yeah, I just want to glance at it.
Okay. We'll pull A and C. Anybody else?
Here.
Motion to approve consent agenda minus A and C. We're approving B, D, and G.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, let's talk about the minutes. Let's go A. Do I have a motion to speak about the regular meeting minutes of February 11th, 2026?
Motion to speak.
Second.
Ready?
I don't have any issue.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of February 11th, 2026?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, C. Do I have a motion?
Motion to discuss.
Okay. Second, go ahead, Jason.
I was just gonna ask if we set a cap on this fee amount, can we in a future meeting, pass a resolution to have a policy that for all waivers under X dollars, it can be done at the staff level, so that it doesn't have to wait on a meeting. Does that make sense?
Maybe when a city or another public entity has a plan to submit, that the staff has the
Because this is a requested waiver of the.
waive it at a staff level. It's up to the board, but
Typically for governmental entities such as cities and counties.
and specifically what this would see is it's just outside of our boundary. Pearland's given us a FYI of what they're trying to do, just to keep us in a loop. So that way, when our citizens ask what they're doing and how it impacts us, you know, we have the information.
We've done this before.
Yes.
This is standard, Jason, on, with Pearland. We've, when they've been right there, we've given them a waiver on this request before.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, it doesn't have to wait on a board meeting anymore. If it's under a certain value, staff can approve it without bringing this to us.
Well, we can make a resolution. It can be put on the next agenda.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. I just wanted
Yeah.
to.
Okay.
enter.
Does the board have an idea of what number they would feel comfortable with? Perhaps?
We can put,
Discuss.
we'll put discussions in. We can put requests in.
Motion to approve C.
Second.
All those in favor? Alrighty. Resolutions 10. A resolution 2026-03, raising the general homestead exemption to 20%. You have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
What is the motion for?
Motion to raise the general homestead exemption to 20%.
So you have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, yes, sir.
Second.
I'm sorry. Would you like me to read it in whole?
Sure.
It's very short. Resolution 26-03, resolution concerning homestead exemption from taxation. Whereas the laws of the state of Texas provide under certain circumstances for the exemption of residents' homesteads from ad valorem taxation. And whereas the Board of Directors of Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District, the district desires to implement the following residents' homestead exemption now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of the Directors of the Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District that Section 1, the Board of Directors of the district hereby exempts from ad valorem taxation by the district a general homestead exemption of $5,000 or 20%, whichever is greater, as authorized by Article 8, Section 1B, Sub B, Texas Constitution, and Section 11.13, Texas Property Code, as amended, and that this resolution constitutes an official action of the Board of Directors of the district concerning the foregoing tax exemptions intended to be adopted permanently and until rescinded.
Did we have a motion to approve or to discuss?
It was to approve.
I'd like to discuss it.
Okay, well, first we have to clear the first motion. We have a motion to approve it, and we have a second. Do you want to amend your motion to discuss it?
Yeah, let's go ahead. I'll amend my motion to discuss the 20% reduction.
Second.
Okay,
Thank you.
go ahead.
I totally support this. I think we may have more money to reduce, but we can look at it during the budget cycle and see what our plans are and what not. I was looking at the tax bill. For me, the city of Friendswood, the school district, and Galveston County all have caps on how much 65 and older people pay. We don't. And I think that we probably ought to look and see if we need to put a cap on our taxes.
That's not a bad idea. Anybody else want to discuss the exemption? I will say we've rolled around here with 10% for years, and this is one of my big things, and it allows us to just another braking mechanism, and it allows us also to keep the tax rate pretty steady with businesses and commercial development. That's growing over in Western League City and other places. That's going to help the people in Friendswood, get paid back for all that development that they did over there to help get that battlefield ready so we can help flood and drainage over here in Friendswood. And like I said, that's like a stock that the people bought way back, 25 years ago, and it's paying dividends now. And the people of Friendswood were paying that while they were suffering over here. They were flooding. And the returns are going to go on, are going to finally come home to roost on those, and allowing that the people homesteaded to be exempt from more tax dollars is awesome. And allows us to have a tax rate a little more steady on the businesses. But like I said, I will not be raising taxes on anybody while I'm sitting here. So I'm all for also looking at more exemptions page, and you can put them on my desk for my parents are 65 and older, 65 and older, and one day I'll be there soon too. So I think I want to look at all tax saving measures that we can do while still performing excellent for the citizens at the district.
Yes, sir.
Jason, do you have something? You have anything? Super. Good. Okay. I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Good. Number 11, discussion reports from staff members. Randy, why don't you start?
This picture here is on Mary's Creek. It's a tree that we got rid of. Unfortunately, you can kind of see the tree's been cut and placed on the creek side. So unfortunately, the resident left everything there, but we got it all up and cleaned it up. And so it's not going to end up being in the creek.
So I imagine it came from the back where that new fence is,
Yeah.
that new section of fence.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah, nice. That's exactly what we want our.
We stayed on Mary's Creek. We're doing some cleanup. This is just some more pictures from that day. This is Mary's Creek at the tip. Actually, that's actually Mary's Creek on the right there, and this is the bypass of Mary's Creek. This is where our district begins. We drove down in here to clear out all the muck that piles up on this waistline here. Get in and grab all that and get that stuff out of here. This is what it looks like after we cleaned it out.
That's a city line, isn't it?
Yes, it's a city line.
Man, we're just chipping in.
And this is actually a bridge that we're going to have one of our flood monitors on.
Good.
So it's kind of like the top of Mary's Creek, and then we'll have one at the bottom of Mary's Creek for that one. This is a tree that we picked up over off of, I think the street Shady Lake Lane, if I'm correct, but
Sandy Lake.
Sandy Lake, sorry. That's the aftermath after we get it and got rid of it. And, we bring a skid steer over to pick that stuff up, put it in the back of our brush truck. This is a bank repair at Stevenson Park. This is the beginning of it. This is a bank repair that's finished now, but just want to kind of give you a synopsis of how it went. We dig it out. We obviously dig a 4-foot key ditch, fill it with, compact it. This is the piece of working it. This is the compacting piece of it, and this is the finished product. This was taken. We haven't seeded everything yet, but that's something that's coming next. We were able to get our bank back up top where we can drive trucks around the corner. We had lost that, where we couldn't get a truck anymore. The biggest vehicle we could get was a 0 turn up there, but now we're able to have enough top bank there to be able to drive back around and drive a dump truck or a brush truck getting stuff out. And this is just looking from the other side of it, what it looks like now. And this is right, the Stevenson Park up here in the top left corner, that's the sidewalk that walks to the dog park. This is another bank that we've been repairing, that we're finished with now. And just kind of give you a synopsis. This is Greenbrier, Chigger Creek, right past the bridge there, the key ditch that I talk about a lot, filling that up with the riffraff and compacting it in. This spot, this is a location right where the Greenbrier makes a turn corner. There's a kind of a retirement home, little subdivision there. They have a detention pond up there that leaks through basically the wall of the creek. So we had to cut a little ditch in to make a French drain so we can drain that so this bank won't fall again. And that's just a piece of it. And this is compacting it back in. This is finishing it up, and this is what it looks like now. This is something that we haven't seeded yet. It's being seeded in the next week or so. This is another project that we're doing at Clearview. We're cleaning up the edge of Clearview property so we can put a fence up. We own this property here at the end of Clearview, and we have a lot of folks coming out and dumping trash. And I had in the December, we had a homeless guy in a tent living out here. So we decided to fence it in so we could keep everything out. This here, you can see those 3 culverts there. That's property that was dumped. These big stumps in the road are stuff that we pulled up. But in the back corner back there, you can see that pile. That's the pile of trash that gets dumped back there quite often. So that's a pile that we have that we
So you got
cleaned up.
fenced off.
We're fencing it now. We're fencing it now. Actually, we had 811 come out. We had them mark all their lines. We were digging, and we came really close to a gas line that wasn't marked. So we had to have them come back out. So we had stopped for the past week, and then we had rain. So that's kind of stopped us. But we'll have it done within the next week or two. And this is just another picture from the end of it, looking down at some of the stuff that we're clearing out. And the fence is just going to go right there, basically where those trees are now. They're going to go right on the outside of those trees, kind of like the fence on the other side. And that's it.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I've said nice work. I think it's good.
What's the status of the borough recovery money?
Borough recovery, we have finished that. The status now, it's with FEMA, getting their approvals. It's a process, unfortunately, that takes a couple of months for them to do. We've been through the initial part of it. They have everything signed. They're in the process of reviewing everything.
Do you need any help on that?
No, sir, everything's done. Everything's signed and done. You know, we have the amount. We're just waiting for them for FEMA to do what they need to do for it.
Super.
So it's really a wait game to wait till they tell me, okay, this is ready for you to do. I've had a couple of times they say, you know, one group's finished. They'll send me a report saying they're finished. They want me to sign it, and I'll sign it and send it back to them. Now it's with, hopefully this is the final group.
Good.
It's nice to be actually eligible to get money, huh?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That hadn't always been the case the last 10 years. Go ahead, Scott.
Cheers. First of all, I want to start off by saying that I think the district the past couple of years.
I'm sorry. I was just going to go in order. Page, go ahead. My bad.
It's a little excited. Thank
Yeah, Scott jumped on that.
Whatever you want to share. So we had a request to go over the finances for this fiscal year thus far, which started October 1st. And I wanted to give y'all an update on that. And I want to preface that by showing y'all our monthly total spend. Like you won't find blackberries eating blueberries in January, our spend depends on the season. And so the last about couple months, with it being winter, with some of those projects, with the water being low and grass not being mowed, has been kind of a slow season, what we call. It really does pick up closer to end of April and May, and then through the summer months, slowing again down in October. And so you can kind of see how our monthly total spend from some of those lines on the right side of your screen are really month dependent, project dependent, and season dependent. And so the summer months are our highest seasons for different expenses, such as mowing, grass maintenance, hydromulching, bank repairs, and coming up on desnagging efforts, since we're waiting on the barge to be able to float in the water and to get it in the water, which we haven't been able to do in these past 4 months because of the banks being low. And so I wanted to pull those numbers to preface that for y'all regarding the monthly total spend, because that is a comment that I suspect will occur with the monthly budget report, which I'll show you next.
I have a question on,
Yes, sir.
in your fiscal year 25 spent,
Mm-hmm.
is that 23 million, right?
No, that is other unmapped. That is looks like a calculation of cumulative from other fiscal years to show a one of the graphs which was a year over year of months to months. And I didn't end up using that chart because I didn't think it was helpful, but
Man, if we spent 23 million, we need to be up to cities. We have to do a bond, to raise some debt.
that's
They didn't need building.
Yeah,
Yes,
we don't do that stuff.
no, sir, we do not do that.
Okay.
This represents about half the fiscal year. And it looks like it's in reasonable shape, so.
That is a year. I'm going to show you this current year next. If you'll pull the other report for me, please. The one that was labeled March report. It's the PDF.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. That one. Okay, so this is the budget report for March 2026 as of, so basically 44% through the year cycle. And we can zoom out actually. And we can go to the second page. So this is the breakdown of our different cost centers of how we're spending our money. But I think the number that you'll be most interested in is in the very bottom, the total of what we spent this year thus far is 23.39% because the majority of our spending happens in Q3 and Q4 of the year. And so it doesn't make sense to evenly spend throughout the year if we have some major projects planned for the summer. But things are in great shape, I gotta say. I am pleased, and I hope y'all are pleased too. Fiscally conservative.
Very good.
Do y'all have
They
any
asked for.
questions about any particular cost center?
I'd still like the HOA grant fund to proceed.
Yes.
It's not shown on here.
That is a project in the works. I had some concerns regarding the legality of the public funds for private purpose, and so I'm still trying to close a couple of those loops before I put it in front of the board.
That's fair.
Sir.
Question. I don't want to go to Scott too soon.
Less finance related. We have the Touch a Truck event happening this Saturday at Friendswood High School. We'll be bringing our boat ride boat, our excavator, and a dump truck. Come out and see us. We hopefully bring your families. Kids always love playing the air horn, climbing on the excavator. It's a great time to learn more about what we do, why we do it, and to connect with fellow citizens.
What time?
It starts at 10.
10.
10 to 11 is the quiet hour, and then from 11 to 1 is all noises blared. So if you have children that are more sensitive to noises, you might want to bring them earlier, and then if you don't, you might bring them later. I think there'll be food trucks. I hear that Coast Guard might have a helicopter, so lots of fun stuff.
Where's it gonna be?
High school, Friendswood High School.
Stadium parking lot, stadium parking lot.
Thank you, Randy.
Sheridan?
Sure. Let's start off by saying I think that the board is heading in the right direction. I think you've done a great job the past couple of years of getting a great staff here, focusing your energy on things that matter, looking for the regional solution that's actually going to have a reduction in water surface elevation that's going to have a positive impact for your constituents. So great job on that. I'm glad to be a part of that. It hasn't always been the case. You've heard that before. Early on, I guess I've been the district engineer since 21. I was really disconnected, just more plan reviews. And, this board has kind of brought me on more of as a staff member and, taking my opinions on matters to heart and use those for good directions. Previously, there were projects done that, increased the conveyance on the creeks and without anything being done on an engineering basis. I think that's dangerous. I think it's dangerous not just for the citizens of the district, but also downstream, right? We know that there's probably impacts that were made. So I want to commend you on that. I think you're doing a great job and keep fighting the good fight. That being said, Randy and I had the pleasure of traveling to Conroe yesterday and today to be a part of the Texas Floodplain Management Association's spring meeting. We got to sit through some seminars and whatnot, and so that was always fun. The big thing that stuck out to me was that Half Associates. They were the ones presenting the seminar yesterday morning, which was basically focused on entities and how you review drainage reports and plans, and hey, you need to have good, solid criteria in effect, so that way you can combat bad designs, right? And one thing that really stood at me was right when we were about to leave, everything was ending for that session, was the gentleman from Half, who happens to be the engineer that reviews all of Fort Bend drainage districts, drainage impact analysis and big master plans from private entities. He said, be sure that you do not let a developer talk you into allowing them to clear and grub without that being mitigated, because it sure enough raises drainage impact, which is what we've said all along. So again, that's just a reinforcement there that we're doing the right thing with that 39 acres off Wilderness Trails. We made the right decision. It's unfortunate that the city went down that route and is fighting us on it. My whole professional career, I've worked privately within the city of Friendswood and Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District, and there's always been a good rapport there. So I hate to see the stripe that's there from the city side, because it's sure it's not from the district staff or board members. We want to work together with them for what's right for the community. And so that's a little frustrating to me personally. That being said, that's all I have. The reviews are on time. I'm running a little bit behind because I've been in those meetings this week, but that's life, right? So I'll get caught back up soon.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. City of Friendswood reports. Mr. Ross, you want to give that? It's like you're the
Nobody else showed up?
only game in town.
Like you need a vacation.
I just came back. Board, nice to visit with y'all again. The last thing that we did regarding flooding and drainage in the city of Friendswood is we approved $1.25 million for partial payment on a study of the Lower Clear Creek and Dickinson by the watershed. So it's part of a bigger study. It's about a $5 million study. Friendswood committed $1.25 million. League City committed $1.25 million, and Galveston County has committed $2.5 million towards the study. So that's been committed by the city of Friendswood. I don't know the exact timing of the kickoff of the study. Supposedly, the city's going to get other people to kick in their fair share, so to speak. When I looked at the budget assessment of it, it looked like Friendswood was on the hook for about $109,000 of the total study based on their share of acreage involved in the drainage study. So I'm just kind of curious as to our commitment to 1.25. But we got it started, so hopefully some other entities will kick in. I'm sure they've come to you and asked y'all to kick in. No? Okay, well, sorry to hear that. We'll be knocking on your door shortly, I'm sure. Also, I was just curious. I kind of walked in late and didn't get the full scope of this, but it sounded like somebody was talking about holding up the district or dissolving the district. And so curious as to whose responsibility would it be to take care of the drainage issues and the flooding and drainage issues in Friendswood, the drainage district went away.
You, city councilman,
You specifically?
not you, but your city council and your city.
Oh, so
Yes, your city
the
government.
city would have to take it over and
Without raising taxes.
Without raising it, yes.
so how do they do it without raising taxes? How's that been? I mean, I haven't seen anything at the city level.
It's magic. They're gonna
This
use
is just
magic.
thinking,
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah, it's magic economics. It's never worked before, but it's gonna work now.
Right now, the thought is take sales tax from the town center. Once that gets going,
Oh, they've already promised that to 10 other things.
For 30 years.
Yeah. Seriously, I mean, we can't continue to spend other people's money.
From Peter to pay Paul.
well, we need somebody to take it up if we can spend.
then we won't.
There
we go.
And I don't see how the city can take it over, and of course, nobody at the city has actually approached me on it, and discussed it with the city council member as to how we can take on that added expense and how we can afford it. So, I mean, just looking at the law, the state law says that, a jurisdiction has to take on the responsibilities. In that case, it would be the city of Friendswood, because the majority of jurisdictions in the city of Friendswood, if that occurs, then they would have to pay for those ongoing expenses. And then if they have to raise their taxes to do so, then if it exceeds 3.5%, guess what? Citizens have to vote on it.
Yeah, Ross, what happens when the next flood hits and 35% of the city goes underwater or 40? How are we going to fund that then? What's the magic then? What magic farm do we go to next?
I mean, I guess we'll continue to reach our hand out to FEMA and, hope the federal government continues to bail us out of our problems. But I think,
It was a rhetorical question.
I understand, because I'm just giving you the answer that's been the answer for 4 decades. So, other than that, I don't have anything else to say.
Well, thank you for.
Congratulations on your campaign victory. Precinct 495 Chairman Michael Ross.
That's a little political. Just keep it to the branch.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Rusty, if I could go back and ask Scott a question.
Sure.
You said the kickoff for the 2028 flood planning with HR Green
Yes, sir.
on your list. I would ask you to look at the city master flood plan and plug holes with our study instead of duplicating it.
Sure.
Of course.
So I guess I got overzealous there and skipped that. I was so excited talking about the CFMA. Thank you, Mr. Jim. But so the kickoff, the floodplain meeting, that's to go to the state. There's some state programs there for funding for different things. It's not necessarily a master drainage plan or anything like that, but that is an option that we're looking at too. But yes, we've given that direction during that kickoff meeting, that the same thing, that we incorporate that and that IDRT study on Clear Creek when we get there. So.
HR Green has been directed to consult with both City of Friendswood, City of Lee City, Harris County Flood Control District, and Galveston County, including their engineer's office, regarding any overlapping FMAs or FMEs or other projects that we will be putting into the flood plan, to make sure that whether we need to put letters of support in for theirs and join as a partner, or to submit on our own if they're not already, or to otherwise fill gaps in that manner. So yes, sir. And then additionally, they are also working on a community project funding through Randy Weber's office currently for us as well, doing engineering on that. And so they've already busy at work, and we're excited to work with them.
Super.
Okay. Yeah, I guess this is where to read. So the board of directors will now conduct a closed meeting in order to seek the advice of attorney, opinion or conflict of litigation, settlement offers, matters of the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Contract of the State Bar of Texas, Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 55107, legal issues concerning any listed items on today's posted agenda. A, plain talk. I'm just going to go plain talk. Discussion litigation matters are going to be 25 CV 0038, 24 CV 2406, which will include the 30-something acres at Wilderness Trails, and are doing our due diligence. Thank you, Scott, to protect the citizens of Friendswood from unusual and crazy flooding due to dirt being brought in. And that lawsuit, the construction of that dirt with all the equipment and the stockpiling, they wanted to do a 55,000 cubic yards of that dirt from another county. We'll discuss that because that's a lawsuit. And the other lawsuit we'll discuss will be the fraud lawsuit that was brought up from an account that was put in place before I was on the board. So that account that we lost $1 million plus on was not an account that 4 of us sitting in here had anything to do with making that account. So that was an inherited account, and we're going to discuss how we're going to try to get y'all's $1.2 million back from oversight and fraud that occurred against the district. Our police chief is on this, his lead investigator has been on this forever. And like I said, it should have never happened, but it did. We've changed banks, different accounts, and y'all can blame me for that. Because I'll tell you again, day 3 when I became board president, that was one of the things I raised to the old administration. and they told me not to worry about it, that it was awesome, secure, and everything was done in person. That's the God's honest truth. And against my gut and better judgment, they told me I had better things and more fish to fry, and I didn't have to worry about that. And every single thing they promised me would occur if anything were to happen with the account. I went exactly the opposite of way. The sky wasn't blue, the door wasn't closed, they didn't check signatures, they didn't check a license number, they didn't do anything. They didn't meet the new CFO. None of that stuff happened. It just went. So again, I'm sorry about that, but we will be discussing that in that room back there.
Can I have 1 second?
Sure.
The mistake we made was there was a long-time employee that wasn't watching the store. And we should have traded her out right away, and we should have changed bank accounts. And, you know, we got a heart,
That's,
okay? And sometimes that gets us in trouble. And in this case, it got us in trouble, big time trouble. So I take the responsibility, you know, I'm having to look back, you know, 2020 vision, you know, we should have fired her, but we didn't. And so anyway, it is what it is. We're going to deal with it. We're going to get as much money back as we can.
One more thing, David, that's fine, but that's good cowboy stuff. But listen, the bank is a fiduciary. Okay. They're the pilot, they're the captain, the pilot, everything. Yes. Could you always have better employees or be a better citizen? But when your bank account gets empty, it wasn't empty, but when it gets over $1 million taken out of it, and the pilots and the co-pilot at the fiduciary institution want to blame the stewardess, that's fine. He's talking about an employee that could have done better. Absolutely.
Well,
But you have to check the license number, the fake ID. You can't force 8 signatures, and you might want to make a telephone call before you wire a bunch of money. So, but we're going to talk about that.
one thing I also want to say is that I always thought the FDIC would cover this kind of thing. I don't know what the FDIC covers because they don't cover this. Apparently, there's so much fraud out there that, anyway.
Let's go. Yes,
Also, these 2 things, deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or valued real property.
that one too.
And also the time is now 6:55.
6:55, we will reconvene into regular meeting after exec. See you, Larry.